خلاص خلينا نتفق.
بدون تغسيل؟
عندك حل تاني؟ ابني زلمه وبغسلوش الا زلمه.
انت بدك تفهم انه ما في زلمه ممكن يغسله. خلص خلصنا وبلاش فضايح.
I'm Ahmad Alyaseer, the director of our males and females short film, which has been playing in numerous festivals. I worked as a director in lots of projects, but none of them were film. So I directed 9 TV shows previously and more than 50 TV commercials. Also, I'm the director of Sesame Street, The Middle East Version. And it got us an international Emmy Award nomination.
Wow.
This is like my first time I direct a film.
Yeah, I was going to ask about how you normally generate ideas for films. But, obviously, this one, if this is the first one, I mean, but what's the process of ideas, or how did you come up with this particular one? Let's say, for instance.
Yeah, the theme of death generally is very relatable to us. My sister and I, who wrote the film, we've witnessed more than 17 deaths in our family in the past 10 years. So we're really familiar with the burial rituals, all the religious aspects of a funeral. But specifically, our story was inspired after we met Boosie. She's a transgender woman from the Middle East. She got official recognition and approval to transition. Despite the fact that she got the approval, she thought that her struggle to be accepted would be over because now she fully transitioned. But she was shocked that she was still not accepted, not from her family, friends, or the wider community. Also, even in her legal papers, her gender is still male. So even in her ID, in her passport, they didn't change it. So you could imagine the struggle that she's going through when she's pulled over, when she's driving, when she's applying for any official papers. And based on her story, we thought if a transgender person dies, would the discrimination still prevail? And that was the question that triggered the concept.
Can you tell us how the creative, because you were first co-writing the screenplay with your sister, as you said, and then it developed into the film, and then the film became it kind of, for me, shows two journeys. One journey of a transgender person and another journey of the parents of this person. And even parents you can divide into two journeys because mother's journey and father's journey are different. So it's just interesting to see how you came to all of those, telling basically 3 stories about 3 characters and how, so you had this inspirational real person, as you said. Then you came up together with your sister, and then how did you tried to imagine what would happen if a transgender person in Middle East dies, and then how did you come up and how did you get funding and how did you get the team and brought other people on board?
So basically when we started writing the film, we knew that it's going to be the struggle of the parent of how to wash their deceased transgender daughter. But while writing, we felt like the main thing we want the audience to feel is the journey and the struggle of the daughter, although she's dead. So we really wanted the audience to sympathize with her, to relate to her journey, although she's not acting and she's just a dead body. So that was our first concern, and that was the triggering point. And then we started experimenting, like if by the end of the film, the father accepts her body, then what would be the mother's reaction? And we would start asking ourselves, what's more true to the characters? And we felt like when we indulged into the characters, we felt that the mother would accept her. It felt honest to her character. The ending, to be honest, it was my sister's idea. We were writing the film. I remember it took us like 3 months to do a research, but we wrote it in 1 day, even in a few hours. Like we wrote the film in 2 to 3 hours, but we didn't know the ending. And then my sister suddenly, while we were writing, she looked at me and said, I have a beautiful ending, but it's very harsh. I was like, yeah, say it. And when she said it, I was shocked. like the reactions of the audience when they watch the film. And I was like, wow, this is the ending. This is really beautiful. It's harsh, it's honest, it's true, and it really tells the struggle of everyone in this story. So yeah, we made this ending and we proceeded. Regarding funding and finding the crew, unfortunately, it was very hard. We couldn't secure any funds. We applied for different grants. We got rejected, and the jury told us it's the strongest script that we received, but we can't give it the grant because it's too controversial. And because of that, we couldn't get any funds. There was private investors who are really investing in me as a person, because we were together in TV shows and TV commercials, and they really believe in my vision. And when they read the script, they were like, "This is absolutely beautiful, but we can't give you, we can't be in because it's too controversial." Many crew members didn't accept to work on the film at the beginning. Because I couldn't get any grant, so I ended up self-funding the whole film from my own money. And because of that, I was lucky that almost all the crew members, they really believed in the story and they worked for free, especially the head of departments, the cinematographer, the producer, writer, production designer, most of the cast, everyone. And it was really beautiful. Also, we faced some difficulties in casting. Like the mother, from the beginning, I knew I want her because we worked previously in a TV show, Sophie Qatbal. And my sister and I, when we were writing the script, we couldn't see anyone but her. And when I talked to her and I told her that, she was very happy. She said, of course I'm in. But regarding the father, I honestly didn't know Kamil El-Basha from the beginning. So in my mind, there was different options. And I called them, and they couldn't. They didn't say yes because of the same reason, which is the film is too controversial. It has so much risk, and I felt at some point very disappointed because I couldn't find my leading actor until my friend told me watch the Insult movie, which is a Lebanese feature film which was nominated for the Oscars, and Kamil El-Basha was the leading actor. And when I watched the film, I was blown away by his performance. And I got his personal number, and I told him it would be an honor if you work in this film because your performance in The Insult is one of the most beautiful performances I've ever seen. And he was very welcoming. He loved the script. He was in. And to be honest, now looking back at the whole process, it felt like it was meant to happen this way. And no one would have done it better than Kamil El-Basha and Shafiq Qatbal. So yeah, I was lucky, to be honest.
We gave him a Best Performance Award because,
Yeah.
by the way, there was quite a fight between, because we even made an exemption and nominated both of your actors for performance because just our shortlisting committee couldn't decide who is better because they were both amazing and perfect. And then when people were voting, they almost were going like this.
Wow.
You know, very,
Amazing,
very close.
amazing.
I think it was like one voice or something difference.
Wow.
So yeah, and it's really great that that was one of my next questions to ask. How did you manage to get him? Because I know he's got an award in Venice Film Festival 2017.
True. For the film The Insult, he got best
Yeah.
performance.
So did he agree straight away? Because you didn't know him personally, you just approached with an idea, and as you say yourself, it's a controversial idea. So how did he look at it?
The nice thing about the industry in the Middle East, or specifically Jordan and Palestine, is that we're really small industry. So everyone knows everyone. So I could easily get his number, his personal number. And when I contacted him, he was really happy. He said, the script is absolutely beautiful. I have no problem with it whatsoever. And And he was in, like, from the moment he read the script, he didn't even hesitate.
We were very excited that you won an Oscar qualifying festival. So we're just wondering, what's the future of the film, and what do you think the chance? I mean, it's hard to say, but what the chances might be on actually, you know, getting an Oscar? Or have
I
you
really
thought
hope
about
so.
that much, too much?
Yeah. Well, the film has been having very good festival run. So far, it's been officially selected to 124 festivals, and it won many awards. Like yesterday, we received our 102 award. So far, we have 102 awards for the film, which is amazing. This gives us hope that we have high chances. The moment we were eligible for the Oscar, it was unreal. I mean, this is the dream of my sister and I since we were kids. I swear to God, like, we've been watching the Oscars religiously in the past 20 years. And we would even do something called the Oscar night. It's like a ritual that we do in the family where I take days off of work. If we're at university, we wouldn't go the next day because, you know, with the time difference, because we live in Jordan and the Oscars in the States. So it happens during midnight. So we would skip school or work. We would buy, you know, chocolates and chips, and we would watch the whole ceremony, and we would make our predictions. And I don't remember there's any Oscars that happened. We didn't watch almost 95% of the films nominated. Like, we would always watch all the films. We would predict the winners, make scores. So it's really like, it's amazing. Who would have thought, like, in a year, we would be competing in that? Like, the feeling itself is really, it's really unreal. And that's why when we received our Oscar qualifying award from Nashville Film Festival, we were crying like crazy. It was crazy feeling. I really hope we would make it all the way to the nominations.
Good luck with that. We are
Thank you.
keeping an eye on you on your social media, and we will be very excited when you get there.
Thank you.
Can you share with us any memorable experience from the shootings, from film sets, something particularly happened which was either, I don't know, very touching or very funny or very tragic, or I don't know, something which you would remember as a part of creative process of making this film?
There was an emotional thing that happened during filming. There were some scenes where we used a double for the daughter, and the double was a guy. We also used his body for the last scene to put his breast in her body with the visual effects. So that guy was the double for us, and he came in the shoot just for free because he really loved the script. And when he saw, my sister was with me on set, and my sister, she's a hijabi, like she wears a hijab. And when he saw her, and he asked her, "Are you the one who wrote the script?" And she was like, "Yes." He was so shocked. He said, "It's amazing that a conservative person is able to see people." And she was like, "This is what we're supposed to be. I cannot judge you for anything in your life but your humanity. And this should be our scale of judgment. And I believe every human deserves to have his human rights granted to him or to her, regardless of anything, regardless of their religion, regardless of their gender, sexuality, nationality, everything." And that's the emotional part. He said, 2 years ago, I really wanted to transition, but my family were not accepting enough for that decision. I was even scared to tell them. And I think he took some hormones for a short period of time, and then he backed off. And he was like, if I had a mother like you, I don't think it would have been a difficult decision. So when she heard that, and I was sitting next to her, I mean, we felt like this is the point of the film. Our really core of the film is that to make people who are struggling to be accepted to realize that acceptance shouldn't be their worry. Because if you're only chasing acceptance in your life, you're gonna die and you're not gonna have it. People, if they don't want to accept you, they will never accept you. So instead of wasting all your energy and all your potential in being accepted, you can just accept yourself and be open about it, and everything will fall into place perfectly. I don't want people to chase acceptance, because it's really sad. And I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, you'll never be able to satisfy everyone. There will always be people who don't accept you.
So if we go back to what we were saying about awards just a little few moments ago, so it's obviously a film's been doing really well, and we spoke about that. But what's receiving awards sort of meant to you? How's it impacted what what you're thinking about in terms of career? What does that recognition mean to you personally?
Yeah. Well, at first, regarding awards and festivals acceptance, I would really love to tell everyone who's listening to this, especially if they're making a short film or a film and they're going through the festival circuit, do not be disappointed by rejections. Because at the end of the day, if you made a project that you believe in or a story that you really relate to and you believe in, eventually it will get the recognition it deserves. I mean, at the beginning, we got rejected from big festivals like Venice, Toronto, Cannes, and I was really disappointed. And I reached a point where I felt like, did I do something wrong? Like, is the film not really worth watching? And then suddenly, after we got our first selection, which was Slam Dance and the Clermont Ferrand Film Festival, suddenly it felt like, whoa, all the festivals we applied for accepted us, and our acceptance ratio was 40%, which is like insanely high. But at the beginning, it was horrible. So yeah, I just want to tell everyone who's watching the film, who's going through the process of applying to film festivals, to really not worry about festivals, not worry about getting rejections, because eventually you'll get the recognition you deserve. Now, how is that affecting my career? I'm really hoping it would help me to get funds for we're writing in development 2 feature films. One is based on the short with the same title, and another one has similar theme, but not based on the short. So I'm really hoping that we would be able to make a feature. And like they always tell you that every great director career started from a short film, like almost all of them. So I'm really hoping that this is the beginning of a nice career.
Especially if you get an Oscar, I think this will be
that would be amazing.
to open you some doors, and doors to some funding, and maybe even international funding. If you say maybe if you want again make any controversial topic which your country might not support, you might get knowledge of yourself as filmmaker from around the world. So that's probably what awards. But yeah, I do agree completely with you. I'm a filmmaker myself. I'm a writer, producer, and I have currently a short film on a festival.
Amazing.
And we didn't get any big ones. We get kind of small to medium one, but we've got 26 awards, 17 nominations.
Amazing.
A little bit less than you. But still kind of this film is better than my previous film, so I can kind of feel that I'm growing with this. And I do understand, especially now after founding our own film festival with Darren, and after going through the process of selecting short films in a committee, there are so many factors. Some of them are not connected at all with how good a filmmaker you are, because you have length of the film, topical, how to put a program together of several films which will work together. So, and sometimes we have limited time and amount of films we can show. So all of those aspects can impact the rejection. So yeah, just the main thing I think is to keep telling stories and trying.
And honestly, you know what? I really think that people shouldn't like. Did you see how you say about your short film that your second short is better than your first? I mean, it's filmmaking is a learning journey. Although this is my first short, but this is really a cumulative experience. Like I've been directing for 15 years, and I've done more than 100 projects. So yeah, people usually don't see the full picture. They see like, yeah, this is his first short, it's doing great, and they might be, we start comparing ourselves, but this is not the case. Like every filmmaker has his own pace, every filmmaker has his own experience, and definitely in the universe of filmmaking, no matter how much you do, it really adds up to you. It really adds up, and it keeps adding up, and it's a learning process.
You've done an amazing first film. I remember we're discussing it with our selection committee members, and one of the points was, oh, we could have said that they just, ticked a right box because now they're trying to show more films about diversity, inclusion, and stuff like this.
Sure.
But it's not about this. The film is just such a beautiful story. Everything there, cinematography is just poetry. You just look at those images and you want kind of to dissolve there. The acting is amazing. How the story develops and shows this journey, and the ending, as you said, you developed, is so beautiful. So it's just a very, very amazing first film you've made.
Thank you.
What advice would you give, apart from applying to festivals, which you've already said, to aspiring filmmakers who are interested in creating short films? And are there any key lessons you had at this experience of your first short, which you wish you knew when you started?
My first advice would be is that listen to every head of department, because everyone is technically better than you. I mean, the production designer has more experience in production design than me as a director. The cinematographer has more experience than me than a director. So I think there's a trap that every director falls into, especially directors who are first directing their films, is that they really insist on their point of view and they force it on the team. Filmmaking is a creative process, and it's not an individual process. It's a teamwork. So you really need to trust the team that you work with. You need to really listen to their vision, and then you can discuss it with them. But you really need to do that. It's not your film. And maybe that's why I really don't like when people say a film by and they mention the director's name. I feel it's not fair, because the film is not his project. It's everyone involved project. If I tell you how much we thought about the cinematography with the cinematographer, you would be shocked. Like, we discussed every single frame, even with the production designer, every grade, every color. Like the set that you've seen in the film, that was built from scratch. That was not a real set. We built it from a scratch. And it was all about trusting their experience. They have their experience, they have their vision. The most important thing is for them to love the film, to love the script. And if they did, they would give you your all. So that's the first advice. The second advice would be prepared. Honestly, be fully prepared to an extent. When you go to filming, you don't have to think. I remember we shot this film in 2 days. During shooting, there was no time to get creative. Everything was planned before. The shot list, we had it in details. We even shot the film on mobile camera with doubles. Like, we got double actors just to know the framing of every scene. And we had it recorded on mobile. So on set, I didn't even talk with the cinematographer. We have everything planned like days before. Same thing applied with the production designer. Same thing with the actors. Like, we really did lots of table reads. We did rehearsals. The leading actor, we bought him a surgical kit to practice how to do, a basic surgery of, the stitch scene. And it's all preparations to a moment when we went on set, we were just implementing. There was, of course, time for changes, but that time didn't accumulate more than 20% of the whole shooting day. And honestly, if it exceeds 20%, it's really hard. I would say you're screwed, because You know, every minute counts. There becomes the pressure of time. You start being very worried, and you start compromising. So yeah, it all comes down to being fully prepared.
Yeah, that's great advice there. Very good. So I think the sort of the question now, really, I mean, you spoke a little bit about upcoming projects, but just thought you might want to elaborate a little bit on what you've got coming up next, or anything you haven't mentioned so far, and just give us a little bit more about those.
And maybe you can say if you will be working. We were talking about your amazing team. Will you be working with them again? Are you bringing them to the next projects with you?
So yeah, to answer your question, definitely. We've worked together in different projects. Like this team who worked on this film, we worked in different TV commercials where we really didn't like the commercial, but we did it for money. So we've been through ups and downs a lot. So we're really comfortable with each other, and we're really happy with each other. And yes, of course, I would stick to my team. Projects, we have a feature film. It's called To Him We Return. It tackles how materialistic death funerals could be, and how come the financial burden on the family of the dead is very high. So that's the first feature film. The second feature film is Our Males and Females, which is based on the short, and it discovers more the story of the daughter, and it has its shocking moment, just like the short. We have a short film that we're hoping to shoot by summer next year. It's really nice. I'm really excited to shoot it. And also it has like the same, you know, structure of the story, where it keeps telling you bits and pieces about the story, and then it shocks you at the end. And we're developing a TV show. So yeah, there are 4 projects in development. Whatever gets the green light first, we're gonna proceed with it. But the short, we're gonna do it anyways because it's short.
I forgot to ask a tiny question, just a personal interest. Your sister, does she have experience? Did she have experience in screenwriting before this film, or was it also her first film, or is she a writer? Or
we wrote 3 novels together, so we have 3 published novels, 2 in Arabic and 1 in English. We wrote a TV show, which 30-episode TV show, which we shot, I think, 7 years ago, and we wrote an experimental feature film 11 years ago, and we shot it, but it was experimental. It also went to a festival circuits and all of that. Beside all of that, we've been developing the projects I told you about like way before. So the short is not the first project that we did. In fact, we were developing 2 features, and we got very development grants. And that's when my producer said, Ahmad, you really need to make a short film so that it would be easier for us to get funds and grants. And that's when I decided to do the short film. And honestly, I've got to tell you something. Your festival has the best social media posts in all the festivals I've been nominated in. It creates suspense because you at the beginning you say the short list, and then the nominees, and then yeah, it's a process, and you keep everyone engaged. I really loved it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I honestly I haven't seen that in any other festival.
I was running social media together with several film student volunteers who were helping me.
Amazing.
Kind of run all 3 medias. But yeah, just trying. I mean, for me, when I started the festival, because I'm a filmmaker myself and I've been to other festivals as a filmmaker, I always try. I mean, sometimes it's hard because of funding, as we know, but I always try to do something which I would love as a filmmaker.
Exactly, yeah.
Talk with other filmmakers the way I would like to be talked. I want to entertain them or invite them or be welcoming, because I want.
Honestly, there was this personal touch. It had this personal touch. Like, it's like I'm not talking to it feels like there's a human connection, although it's the official page of the festival, and that was really beautiful.
Well, it's really sad you couldn't come, but I know you told that you couldn't come to any of the festivals so far.
Yeah.
I hope you will be able to come to Oscars, because they are covering all the expenses.
Yeah, definitely.
So we will be following this. Anyway, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch, and we'll let us know how things go with this. You know, this the award for this and on the other projects as well. And if you've got more short films, we'd love to look at them and
Definitely.
showcase them if we can as well.
Absolutely. As the winner, Jan, you have now lifetime free submission to our festival. So
Wow, amazing, really. Ah, that's amazing.
whatever you do, please do send it to us. We'll be happy to see it.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good to
Take
speak
care.
to you. Nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you both.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.